Dear, dear students, today I am going to teach you military causes of revolt of 1857 or First War of Independence. Basically, this moment is started by Sipai. Sipai means soldier, and after that, this moment is spread far and wide. So, some historians stated that it was Sipai mutiny. Here I am going to explain what are the causes, why British Indian soldiers started a revolution, a revolt against British East India Company. Point number one, I would like to mention here General Service Enlistment Act. What was General Service Enlistment Act? I would like to explain here. In 1856, British Parliament passed one new law that is known as General Service Enlistment Act, meaning, according to this law, British Indian soldiers can be sent overseas area. Means, if any requirement is there or any war going on, any other British colony, so British Indian soldiers can be sent there. But to cross the sea was taboo for Indian Brahmins. What do you mean by taboo? Taboo means against the religion. Means Indian religion, basically Hinduism, not allowed any person to cross the sea. If any person, any soldiers cross the sea and went to other country, when he will return back, then in his society, excommunication will be there. Excommunication means if any festival will be there, so nobody will invite him, and if any ceremony will be organized by him, so nobody will participating there. So Indian soldiers were facing humiliation and their sentiments, okay, their sentiments were hurt by General Service Enlistment Act. This question is very important question. General Service Enlistment Act. Second point I would like to explain ill treatment of Indian soldiers. Dear children, you know this one. India was the colony of Britain, and in Indian army, Indian soldiers were also there. Indian soldiers means native soldiers, and European soldiers were also there. But in British Indian army, lot of discrimination were there. Means kitchen were separated and allowances were different. One data I would like to mention: if 1 rupee salary given to Indian soldiers in, and if any other soldier is there, he is a British soldier, and same post is there, he was getting 8 rupees. Means 8 times difference were there in their salaries, and allowances were also different. And British soldiers always very arrogant towards Indian soldiers. Means Indian soldiers were humiliated by British soldiers, and that's why Indian soldiers' sentiments hurts. Next point, that bleak prospects of promotion. I think this is very common. Means a British soldiers, I mean British version. British soldiers can be promoted, and he can be superintendent of police and other post also. But Indian soldiers can't be promoted more than Subedar. So Indian soldiers having capability, having potential, they were hard working, but they were not getting promotion. That's why their sentiments also hurts. Next, point I would like to explain here. I would like to explain here deprivation of the allowances. What do you mean by this one? The extensive British domination in India adversely affected the service condition of the Sipahi. They were required to serve in area away from their homes without extra payment. And additional bhatta, in what do you mean by this one? Nowadays, if nowadays you are familiar that in our military or our PAC or our police, if they are going outside of their respective post, suppose anybody having he has been posted at suppose Gorakhpur, and suppose any VIP is coming and he is going to Lucknow for additional duty, so some additional bhatta will be given. And same condition was there that time also, but British government passed Indian Post Office Act in 1854. So one hand their extra bhatta has been eliminated, and second one more privilege British Indian soldiers who are getting, कि without any expenses they can send letters to their family by post office. But by Post Office Act, this privilege also taken away. Means now if they will send any letter, so they have to pay some money. So that Post Office Act also hurt the sentiment of Indian soldiers. One more very important point I would like to mention here. Lower salaries. The wages of the Indian soldiers were inadequate to support their families. On the other hand, the British soldiers received more than 8 times the salary of the Indian soldiers. This point, military causes, again, I would like to explain again in brief one. First point I have taught you, General Service Enlistment Act, meaning if any soldiers will cross the, if any soldiers working or any Sipahi working in British Army, so any time he can be sent overseas area. That was taboo for Hinduism, means Brahmins, Indian Brahmins. And when he will return back to excommunication taken place, I have taught. So that is one reason. Second one, I have taught you ill treatment of Indian soldiers. The British East India Company established the British Empire in India with the help of the Indian soldiers. Despite the fact that Indian soldiers were as effective, efficient as their counterpart, they were poorly paid, ill fed, and badly housed. Means salary they were not paying equally, very less salary they were getting, and their kitchens were separated, I have taught, and their houses, means where they will be living, their houses will be also separated, not like British soldiers. Means discriminations were there. Next point I have taught you, Indian Post Office Act, earlier privilege they were getting, but after some times when this act has been passed, that privilege has been eliminated. Now, meaning if they will send any letter, so they have, it will be charged, means they will pay money. And one more point, deprivation of the allowances, just I have taught. Children, only one point is remaining in this topic, that is immediate cause of the revolt of 1857. What was immediate cause? I have taught you first one, political causes. In political causes I have taught 4 points. First point I have taught outright war. Second point I have taught subsidiary alliance. Third point I have taught doctrines of lapse, and fourth point I have taught pretext of alleged misrule. It was political causes, and we can say that policy of expansion, many policies had been adopted. So in expenses one, all 4 points can be written. Second point I have taught you economic causes. In economic causes I have taught 3 points. First point I have taught land revenue system. Means British East India Company introduced three land revenue system: permanent settlement, Rayat Badi and Mahalwadi, and all three systems were framed only for the exploitation. Means how maximum revenue will be generated, I have taught this one. How maximum revenue will be collected, and there is no any sentimental attachment with the farmers, and nobody taken care about the farmers. Only British government had only one target: how to get money, how to get revenue. Third point I have taught one-way free trade. One-way free trade means if British commodity is coming to India, no tax. But if Indian commodity is going to outside of the country, then more tax will be imposed. Target was there by one-way free trade policy. How Indian small scale industries will be ruined, will be destroyed, because I have taught you that because industrial revolution taken place in England, many factories were established in place of handmade tools. Machines had been used in the factory. Lot of production taken place. So when more production will be there, the two things required I have taught. First one, raw material required, and second one, market required, and both were available in Asia and African country. And India was very important colony of the British East India Company. Next topic I have taught you socio and religious causes. In this one, many innovations taken place, and like railways and telegraphs, and but learned Indian Orthodox Indians not appreciated these innovations, and suspicion was there कि telegraphs poles had been erected. If anybody will speak against British government, that person will be hanged. So that was rumors created. And abolition of the sati system, that is a good deed done by British government, but not welcomed by Indians. And next I have taught that widow remarriage act, also not appreciated by Orthodox Indians. One more point I have taught with reference to the social and socio-religious causes, that was Western education. And Western education given enlightenment to Indians, but Orthodox Indians were not agree with this one, and they were suspected about the recent innovations done by Britishers. Last point that is very necessary to explain here, I would like to explain immediate cause of the revolt of 1857 or first war of independence. Beta, if any revolution will be there or any revolt will be there, so only one cause will be not there, many causes will be there. So these causes, political causes, social causes, religious causes, economic causes, I have taught, and one will be immediate cause. I would like to explain you what was immediate cause. I would like to explain here. In 1856, British East India Company introduced new Enfield rifles. In that Enfield rifles, there was cartridges, and cartridges had a greased paper. What do you mean by this one? Means bullet, you know this one. I think gun and bullet you have seen. So the bullet had a greased paper. Means explosive material will be kept in that bullet, and in at a top, one greased paper was there. By that greased paper, this was sealed. If any soldier want to use this bullet, so first he will bite this one, bite teeth one, like this one, respective soldier will bite by own teeth, and after that explosive material will be kept in gun, and then firing will be taken place. So it is rumors that this the greased paper has been made by cow and pig fats. Again, I am going to repeat. Beta, in-field rifles had one bullet or cartridges. The cartridges was not made by cow and pig fat. Cartridges, you know this one explosive material. Cartridges had one greased paper. By that one, it will be locked. So when you are going, any soldier is going to use this one. The first one, so respective soldier will bite this one by own teeth like this one. Then he will put in his gun. After that, firing will be taken place. And rumor was there that greased paper, not bullet, I'm talking about again repeating this one, greased paper was made of cow and pig fats. Suppose I am Hindu and I am going to Hindu soldiers, I am going to bite by own teeth, and it is made by cow fats, so it will hurt my sentiments. In place, suppose I am a Muslim soldier and I am biting this one by own teeth, and it is made of pig, so pig was taboo for Muslim. So what happened? Means Hindu Muslim soldiers' sentiments hurts by new infantry rifles, and after that, revolt broke out. Dear student, why I'm very happy with this topic, because I have completed my research on respective topic, revolt of 1857 and Mangal Pandey. So Mangal Pandey was a first soldier who denied and started revolt against the British government, and finally he was captured, he was arrested, and death sentence granted by British government. Dear children, I have completed revolt of 1857, our first war of independence, and all causes I have completed, and next day I'll come with